several others. Abandoned patios, larger patios, flower-filled patios, empty patios, beautiful patios. Patios with no neighbor hanging clothes barefoot in a nightgown on January 1st. You looked up and understood that the only way Menendez could have killed himself on your patio was by climbing onto the wall of his rooftop terrace. Menendez had chosen your patio. He'd chosen you. He tried to kill you, or at the very least harm you. Menendez had gone to so much effort, you thought, and yet had been so ineffective. You shuddered when you saw the blood run slowly but ferociously around the edges of your foot. The soft sound of the red liquid moving almost in silence made your body go cold, and you wanted to scream, but all you did was stare at the dentures. You heard the neighbors behind the door to your apartment. So many neighbors, so many patios, so much noise. They rang the bell, knocked, called out your name, but you were looking mesmerized at Menendez's horribly made dentures, and you laughed, because you understood that this was an awful joke fate had played on you, one of those stories that happen only to a colleague's cousin's friend's girlfriend, who tells it in a way that's humorous and not very convincing at some forgotten gathering, mixing your story, your truth, with improbable urban legends while everyone laughs and drinks and thinks that a neighbor will never fall on their heads. And you felt that people like you didn't deserve this. Courteous people, professional people, people with their lives together and in order, people you considered to be good because you were an exemplary person, your values were in the right place, and you were destined for success. That Menendez's repugnant, naked body was an omen at the start of your year, a sign from the heavens, was simply unacceptable. That an everyday appliance, an object of decidedly little value, such as used dentures, had intervened and saved your young and vital body, your perfect and radiant teeth from ending up under Menendez's decaying bones, his aging, sweating skin, was an insult. You remained there, crouched down and clutching the dentures, the two halves in your hand, while someone knocked your door in, and the neighbors and police entered, yelling things and crying out, their sentences full of panic, and you heard odd words like señorita, how awful, suicide, neighbor, ambulance, mail, shock, police station, poor girl, file a report, what a tragedy, Menendez, were nothing. Someone put a blanket over your shoulders, though it was the middle of summer, and human stupidity seemed so natural to you, the automatic and senseless gesture to protect. Someone tried to move you, to sit you down on a chair, but you didn't want the edges of your foot to lose contact with the bestial yet almost inaudible sound of the blood. You didn't want to stop hearing it. They brought you a chair, and you sat down, your bare feet red and soaked. Your fourth-floor neighbor came over. You recognized her by the stench of confinement and 10-cent incense. She put her hand over her mouth and said, "How dreadful, my dear, how dreadful, what a tragedy, God save us, how awful." She touched your hair, and you moved her hand away as if you were ridding yourself of a plague, a venereal infection, a biblical curse. She huffed indignant and said something like, "The nerve," and "rude young lady," but she said it all together, "the nerve of this rude young lady." You asked yourself if there was a wise woman out there who could teach you to behave in a civilized manner next to your neighbor's naked, dentureless body. She left for the kitchen, taking with her the smell of mothballs and breath saturated with a mix of rancid medication and alcohol masked with coffee. You didn't care that the other women from the building joined the one from the fourth floor, and that all of these shocked neighbors made remarks, talked, breathed while they pointed at Osvaldito, which is what they called Menendez, whom they'd apparently known for such a long time. You thought that the older women who gathered in the hallways with their short, poorly dyed hair, their long, painted nails and small, amputated brains were united by a common, misguided imbecility. They shared an excessive passion for tiny hyperkinetic dogs, controversial breeds that in general tend to be programmed with minute but shrill yelps. These women come across as completely inoffensive beings, but they live comfortably submerged in a combination of evil and normalcy produced by an unhealthy amount of leisure time.